18 sailors have been left stranded in Durban's harbour, some of them for months. Well, according to SA Maritime Safety Authority, the sailors were aboard abandoned vessels and are now legally and financially stuck. Dedicated to helping sailors in need are the Mission to Seafarers, a Christian welfare charity to merchant crews that have been helping out. They say some of the sailors were hours from running out of food. Lethiwe Mdlulii is reporting on this story. Lethiwe, they're called sea slaves very often. I've covered them before here in Cape Town Harbour. They're often not paid. They're not given adequate food. Their living conditions are appalling. The ship's captain then abandons the vessel, and they're stuck here in port. Is that what has been happening in Durban?
Well, Anika, that's exactly the same situation here in Durban. I've been speaking to some of the sailors and they're telling me that they've been here for about 4 months. Some have actually been here for years, and they're saying that they don't have any food, and unfortunately they can't go back home. Right now we're standing on a ship that has been here for about 5 years, and you can see from the condition of this ship that it's not in a good condition. We understand that there's about 2 sailors here. Others are also on the other vessels that are stuck here at the Durban Harbour. We understand that there's about 18 of those sailors coming from different countries, including India and Bangladesh. I now want to speak to the principal officer for SAMSA, Mr. Mkhize. I need to understand, why is this happening? Take us through the process, and why are these sailors stranded?
Thank you, ma'am, and good morning to the listeners. The problem arises with the ship owners who find difficulty in paying the crews their due wages, to a point where they decide to abandon the ships with no crew wages being paid in time. And then we get these complaints from time to time. It's not a normal situation, but it does happen. And when it happens, we have an obligation as SAMSA to attend to these issues. So when we do inspect the vessels after we've received complaints, we are duty-bound to take action. And one of the actions that we can take is to detain the vessels and try to engage with the owners to a point where at least the situation is resolved with the crew.
Now, with this situation at hand, we know that it's not this ship only. There's other ships that are stranded, and obviously there's sailors in there. Take us through what you've discovered, and how are these guys functioning on a daily basis?
What we have discovered with the other ships, including this one, is that they've had no food for the 5 years that the vessel is here. The owner has not provided any provisions for the entire time. They have not been paid wages. This is a new crew that is here who have not been paid for 4 months. They fell into the same trap as the previous crew who had not been paid for 4 years when the vessel arrived here. And they had to rely on charity from the Seafarers Mission, the other organizations such as the Food on Wheels, to provide them with provisions to go on day-to-day basis.
Now, Mr. Mkhize, I need to understand this. What is the Durban Harbour saying? Is this allowed? Can they, are there laws against this?
It is not allowed, and it's beyond the Durban Harbour. The Durban Harbour is actually assisted together with the other organization in ensuring that the seafarers are at least taken care of during the stay in Durban, and they're provided with security and everything. So what then happens, the lawyers, ITF, which is the International Transport Federation, a union for the crew workers on board ships, gets involved, and then the matter is taken to courts, which is the case with the other sister ship of this vessel. And then that's the reason why these 2 vessels are now arrested, is to try and address the issues with the owner legally now, since the discussions that have taken place have not borne any fruits.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that is Mr. Mkhize, who is the principal officer for SAMSA. But what I want to do, Anika, I want to speak to some of these sailors that have been stuck here. We understand that one of the gentlemen has been stuck here for about 4 months. I want to get their reaction and find out how their living conditions are. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good morning, ma'am. I'm good.
Yeah. So tell me, you've been stuck here for how many months, and how are your living conditions?
Last 4.5 months we are stuck here, and we not received our salary. Last 4.5 months is approximately now 5 months is complete. We not received our salary, And the condition of this vessel, you can also look at this fully blacked out vessel, no have water, no have washroom, anything is not available on this ship. So this is a very bad situation now.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So that's one of the gentlemen that has been stuck here. He's from India. They've been stuck here for about 4 months. And as you can see from the visuals behind me, this ship is not in a well-kept condition. It's been here for 5 months. And unfortunately, these sailors are saying that they need to go back home. But unfortunately, they can't, Annika.
Thanks so much, Lethiwe. I suppose one of their only hopes is if the Indian or Bangladeshi, in some of the crew's case, can get involved in repatriating them. But so often these sailors go on these treacherous journeys to provide some kind of salary for their families at home. And that's often their major concern, is that their families are suffering because they're not getting any money to send back home.